Hi everyone, welcome back to AFTV. I'm here outside Villa Park, just have a little look ahead at the game against Villa. 11 cup finals to go. That's what we keep saying after every game, that number is getting smaller, and as it gets smaller, we stay in the top four, we can feel more and more confident of securing Champions League football. But this is another massive game. Every game is massive. You're going to hear that. Every preview, you're going to hear massive game, massive game. This is, I think, because of the defeat against Liverpool. I think most maybe expected we weren't going to get too much from that game. It has maybe put the pressure on Arsenal just to not lose momentum, bounce back and give ourselves a win, keep our place in the top four as we go into that Palace game. Man United don't play this weekend, we're going to touch on that as well. But it's an opportunity for Arsenal to bounce back against a Villa side whose form has been at times on the up, at times improved, but patchy as well. They have brought in Steven Gerrard, who's doing well, but I think this is a game Arsenal could be hopeful of getting something from. So we're going to go into it as we start by looking at the league table. Arsenal sitting fourth on 51 points, I believe. Yeah, that's it. 27 games played, with Villa ninth on 36 points. They played a game more as well. I mean, listen, sitting in the top 10, Villa will be happy with that. They don't have massive aspirations for European football, finishing seventh. They're, I think, 12 points off Tottenham, so still a way off that. But sitting comfortably in the top 10, and they've been a top 10 side in the Premier League for the last couple of seasons. They've got some very good players. They're much improved. Players that we're going to talk about in a second, because they are dangerous. They can cause Arsenal problems, and Arsenal need to be very wary of them. Looking at Villa's form, I mean, 3 wins on the bounce in their last 5, but they are sandwiched by 2 defeats. They lost at West Ham recently. Listen, any side can go to West Ham and lose. They've been good this season. But I thought Villa would do something there. They did fall to a defeat. But what's really interesting about Villa's form, in these last 5, they've switched more to a diamond shape. They've switched more to a shape that's allowed Coutinho to play in the number 10 role behind Danny Ings and Ollie Watkins. Now, I'm no expert on Aston Villa. If you want someone who is, go check out the Box to Box with Turkish. But what I felt was that I think they've been trying to look to get Coutinho into more central areas. They've tried to play with him in midfield, him on the wing, Buendia on the wing, play a 4-3-3, pick between Watkins and Danny Ings, but they're finding a way to get Coutinho in the middle and Ings and Watkins together up front, and those are the players I think Arsenal are going to have to pay attention to. They're going to be very narrow. They're going to play very much in the areas that Partey will be occupying. I wonder if they're going to try and press him and try and nullify what he can do on the ball. Even against Liverpool, he was terrific in possession. I wonder whether they're going to try and stop him and stop what he does and what he brings to this Arsenal team, as well as getting up close to Gabriel and White. Now, we know Gabriel and White have proven 2 very good recovery defenders who, if you're going to go long, they're going to mop up quite nicely. They've done that well. But when it's pinged into Watkins' feet, Ings' feet, we know that they can be real handfuls, low centres of gravity. They go after the ball well. Not too dissimilar to Alex Lacazette, actually. I think they could pose a real problem for Arsenal centrally there. And on the wings, you might find Cedric and Tierney have a little bit more licence to get forward. So I think that is going to be an interesting thing to watch out for. How do Arsenal deal with this diamond shape? Because you're still going to have John McGinn pulling out wide, Jacob Ramsey, who makes runs in beyond, a midfielder we're going to have to really pay attention to. He's been a real breakout star for Villa this season. Obviously scored against Arsenal at the Emirates, although we were 3-0 up at the time. I think they've got some players we've got to worry about. Douglas Luiz at the base, so let's see. I wonder if Callum Chambers will be getting game time. Digne, I'm sure, will be bombing up and down the left-hand side. So they're going to pose Arsenal problems, but what we need to focus on is the problems we're going to pose them. So we'll touch on some team news and what I'm sort of expecting Arsenal to do tactically in a little bit. Let's just talk about Arsenal at Villa Park, though, more specifically Mikel Arteta at Villa Park, because it's not really gone well for him. 2 defeats at Villa Park, both without fans in the ground. That's the interesting thing. First time that he's coming here with a fully packed Villa Park, and I'm sure they'll be absolutely bouncing. 2 1-0 defeats. I can't remember, I think Trezeguet was it who scored the goal in the 1-0 win in Project Restart, and then just a Cedric error when he was playing at left back for Ollie Watkins finished, I believe, when we lost there a year ago. But actually I thought we played quite well in that game at Villa Park a year ago. I thought we were worthy of something from that game, created chances. Odegaard had just come in, he was getting his early minutes in an Arsenal shirt, and the team's come on leaps and bounds since then. It's a very different Arsenal side. Lacazette leading the line, Odegaard playing in the midfield 3, Xhaka in a new role. You know, we've got Martinelli in great form, we've got Saka dominating on the right wing, and we've got options. Pepe coming in, and he's been doing well when he's been coming in. A little bit ineffective against Liverpool, but not his fault. Smith Rowe, our top goal scorer. The team's really come on since that defeat at Villa Park, since the 2 defeats at Villa Park. So I think it's worth saying that whilst our record here isn't great under Mikel Arteta, I do think it's a different side. It is a different side. We beat them 3-1 at the Emirates earlier this season, mainly down to a real blitz in the opening 50-55 minutes, and then we sat on what we had and we looked after it nicely, and Arsenal just sealed the 3 points. And that was the start of Arsenal really starting to change the narrative in terms of the way this Arsenal team were being looked. I think at that point it was 4 wins out of 6 with 2 draws since our 3 defeats in at the start of the season. Arsenal was starting to show they could put a bit of momentum together, and they need to show that they can continue that now. 5 wins on the bounce before that Liverpool defeat. Go bounce back, because that's one thing Arsenal have done really well this season, is bounce back. Poor start to the season, 3 defeats, they go and win their next 3. Draw with Palace, draw with Brighton, thinking that's disappointing. They then go and beat Villa and they go on a very decent run. I mean, even in December, losing to United and Everton, after going 1-0 up in both games, we lost them both, couldn't hold on, which was majorly disappointing. But they bounced back with a great December, struggled in January, didn't bring in a striker, win their next 5 games. This side have shown they can bounce back, not only for the fan base, for themselves, but for Mikel Arteta. And I think that is a real asset to this side, to have that mental strength, to have that ability to not kind of feel that the momentum's been completely taken out from them and actually build it back up and go again. So they need to do that once more. Let's have a little look at this weekend more generally. Arsenal are playing Villa. It's the 12:30 kickoff. We know Arteta hasn't been too happy with that, but save that discussion for another day. What's interesting is Man United don't play this weekend. Tottenham do. They face West Ham. I hold some hope West Ham can do something, but we'll wait and see. But where this gets interesting is that game in hand, or the 2 games in hand we have on United. One, everyone's talking about it being Chelsea away, Spurs away. It's actually been taken off one of them and transferred to this now. Playing this weekend with United not, this has become one of the games in hand. It's an opportunity to go 4 points clear of them with a game in hand as well. I think it's the Spurs game, because Chelsea I think has been rescheduled for around the time they're playing Liverpool away as well. So it's actually kind of almost lined itself up quite nicely for Arsenal. This is another game in hand on United. It's an opportunity to try open the gap. If we don't win here, we drop points. We're not looking at, we've still got the 2 games in hand to make it up. We don't. They're not playing this weekend. So I think that's where that added pressure does come in for Arsenal. This has very much become one of the games in hand, an opportunity to go into the international break with a 4-point lead on Man United in 5th place. Now listen, Spurs might win their game, keep it to 3 points, but we'd have a game in hand on them and still them to play as well. So the context will still be looking very, very good if we are to get a win here. Hopefully Arsenal do. If we get a draw, is it the end of the world? Absolutely not the end of the world, but it will definitely kill momentum, especially when we got a good 14, 15, 16 day break between our next game against Crystal Palace, which is a Monday night game away from home, and we saw how Man City fared in a Monday night game at Selhurst. So yeah, that could be a tricky one. Last thing to chat about is the sort of predicted 11. Go check out the predicted 11 video I did with Turkish. I kind of raised a question about whether Saka maybe deserves a rest. I'll leave that with you guys. I could see Smith Rowe coming in, our top goal scorer, on the left, and Martinelli playing on the right. I can't see him dropping Lacazette because of what he brings as a leader, leading from the front, his hold-up play. I'm going to ask that question. Go check out the predicted 11 video though for a little bit more context around why I think we might see a little bit of a tweak to the starting 11. But that's everything, guys. That's my little preview and look ahead to Aston Villa. 12:30 kickoff here in the UK. All you global gooners around the world, you're watching it at all sorts of times, getting up at God knows what hour to watch, and we love it. And we obviously will be live on full time to get your thoughts after the game. Hopefully Arsenal will pick up another 3 points. They need to keep the momentum going on to the final home stretch of the season after the international break. Come on Arsenal, get it done. Let's go.